Welcome to the CEN show, a place or a platform where you could come and learn from the world community. This evening, we have a show on value systems, migrants. Are we getting their best? And this evening, we have Brother Mashinda here. We have Professor Ra, and our guest is Brother Mooco. And he has alarmed me that this may be a part one of 3 or 4. So we're going to really get into what we're talking about this evening. And then also, we're going to do it later. So we're going to get straight to it. Brother Mooco, are you ready? And by the way, I'm Masaki Maskani. I didn't introduce myself. But are you ready, Brother Mooco?
Yes, that is the host with the most, my brother Rashaki. You know what I'm saying? Y'all might pronounce it different, but I always call him brother Rashaki. You know what I'm saying? Rashaki. Um,
Yeah.
it's an honor to be here. I feel like this is my home. Uh, my second care unit, you know, uh, to the many that I have, but this one is very important to me and very dear to my heart. We might have a few members that come in tonight that I've invited. So if they do come in, you know, hopefully, they'll introduce themselves. And if they're, privy to the recording and they didn't get a chance to chime in because I know everybody's in different zones, I just want to welcome y'all even still, even though you didn't get to make the live recording. This is for y'all too. And for the people that's on the space that I'm talking about, my Twitter fan. I've been a newly member of the Twitter family. I've had a Twitter page for a while, but I didn't really understand the dynamics of it because I was so used to Facebook. And when I put Facebook away, I kind of shied away from social media. But I just want to put the family abreast to um, the unapologetic all black social media that we have developed. A few brothers out of Jersey, Florida, uh, one of the biggest, well, the biggest black news curator in the United States and possibly I say the world universe is News Tata. I want y'all to get privy to that. It's Newstoter. Again, that's newstotter.com. You can go on there, subscribe on YouTube. Definitely uh, unapologetic black news from a black perspective. And they hold spaces on Twitter. So spaces are like this Zoom call is, but you don't get a visual face like you do with me right now. You just have a avatar, which like the one you see behind me. That'll just be like my avatar, and it had my name on it. And we're in a space with a bunch of other people, and just like Brother Rashaki here, he is the host with the most, and he has the controls. He can mute me or mute anybody, and you have those same type of operations in Twitter Spaces. Okay, so that's just a brief description. So if we get some new members that may join in on the call, these this is my Twitter fam, and that's where they're coming from. They say, yo, I'm usually in the spaces. That's usually what they mean, okay, on Twitter. So anyway, I just wanted everybody to subscribe. I sent Rashiki a link to the All Black social media network that we've developed. I'm glad to be a part of it. I had no hand in developing it, but the brothers that developed it from Jersey, a brother named Gray, another brother I know named DJ from Jersey, and brother News Tata. They all developed this social media platform strictly for us, and they vet the people that it's a vetting process. So it's not like anyone can join. They vet. They definitely make sure that you are melanated and are a descendant of slaves from here, and just that you're black. You know what I'm saying? So This platform, I just would like Brother Rashiki to send it out to everybody, and I hope that everybody would join. Make your page on social. It's called social. It's spelled SOXCIAL.com. It's on Mighty Networks for right now, but we use Mighty Networks because Mighty Networks is independent from like Google or any platform like that, and we can actually trace and track who they deal with. So they don't deal with the branding companies that you know trace your activities and stuff like that. This is a safe space platform where you can say what you feel. It's no putting you in social jail like Twitter jail or Facebook jail because you said something that you know uh, the Jews or any other person group didn't agree with. So it's one of those platforms, and plus the platform is just all in all it's just informational. You know what I'm saying? Um it's a very what's the word I'm looking for? It's a very not productive and constructive, not just productive and constructive, but it's definitely a platform where you can get good, valuable information that's not being talked about and that the white media is not making you privy to. So just with that, I'm gonna get into it. I'm sorry I made that long-winded intro, but how y'all doing, family? Uh, Brother Amon Ra,
Yeah.
Rashiki, Shinda, everybody else that's on the everybody else that's on this. Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, so I guess it's just us for right now. So the topic of the night started with value systems. And I know we all well aware of our value systems and what we've been brought up to value, um, holidays, different types of traditions, uh, all those different things. You know, some people have been brought up to value money more than time itself. You know what I'm saying? Or even their health. So, value systems, what I was saying is to get to a place of, we already, right now, we have the value system of racism, white supremacy. And um, myself, can't speak for others. Myself, feeling that I am a victim of racism, white supremacy, um, because I understand what it is and how it works. I understand that my value system is flawed. And the only way to change that is to understand first that my value system is flawed, you know? Um, and what I'm starting to see is a shift and a habit of a talking habits that we have. One of those, for example, real quick and clear example, is the fight for equality. You know, we have all our ancestors. I mean, brother Amin Ra, brother Mashinda, brother Rashiki, myself, and others that may listen to this. We can all say and attest that our ancestors and our elders that are still around have been subjugated and mistreated and not had the most constructive help their entire lives up until this point in this system of racism. Correct? Can I get a head nod from everybody or thumbs up? Yes or no? Okay. So
Yeah.
being that being that we're all in agreement that we are victims as well as our elders and ancestors are victims, we understand that there was some mistakes made. Now, this is not the blame game and it's not the blame show. You know what I'm saying? What this is a way to get to the solutions and to get to something that we never seen before. Okay? And that's a system of justice. Now, what's the meaning of justice? I looked up the meaning of justice and it was very vague. You know what I'm saying? It said it said something to the effect of working towards peace, whatever that means. In this uh coded English language, peace could mean peace of mind, a piece of my pie, a piece of my big toe, just got chopped off over there, and the big piece is over there, and the little piece is still with me, you know. So it was real vague. So my meaning, and Neely Fuller shares this meaning, and I share his meaning actually, of justice is a two-part meaning, and it's very, very clear, and it's very, very compensatory. What it means is Mr. Neely Fuller has added a couple, well, one or two things in there to make it a clear, precise meaning when we use the word justice. Justice means there is a two-part guarantee. Okay, there we go. Thank you. It's a guarantee that, all right, this is the meaning of their meaning of justice. And as y'all can see, it is very vague. It says just behavior or treatment. Okay. And then it says down there, a concern for justice, peace, and genuine respect for people. Well, if you already messed up about your idea of what respect is, and you already confused about everything that you think you know, this meaning will mean nothing to you, and it will mean everything to you. And a meaning like that is dangerous because a meaning like that, it doesn't stop things from happening, and it damn sure uh start it's not the most constructive meaning to get the most constructive or the most, yeah, the most constructive help, the most constructive solution. Okay. So justice is two-part meaning. And you might want to jot this down. Justice, if you already don't know, and I'm sure I think everybody's privy in this space right now already know this meaning, but for the ones that may listen in the past, I mean, in the future and catch the recording. The meaning of justice is a guarantee that no one is mistreated. No one at any time. That means Brother Rashiki, Brother Ra, Brother Mashinda. No one is mistreated at any time, and it's a guarantee. And the second part of that meaning is a guarantee that whoever needs constructive help, whoever needs help, get the most constructive help. Now that's straight to the point. You know what I'm saying? We guaranteeing that it's no mistreatment nowhere ever at any time. Mistreatment is a myth. Okay? This is what justice looks like. And guaranteeing that if my brother Amin Ra needs help over there, whatever help he needs, like the light went out. You feel me? I give him the most constructive help that he won't ever have a problem with the lights going out again. That's the most constructive help. And we got to be firm when we're using these meanings. Why? Because we're changing our value system. You know what I'm saying? Now, the value system that we currently have, I told you, is a white supremacist value system. Okay. And if at any time anybody got any questions, y'all can interrupt because I'm kind of speeding through this because I want to get to the meats and bones of this because we're really going to have some homework. And I need my brothers and my sisters' help on doing this homework because it is a big task. Okay. Now, the changing of the value systems, and I have to slow walk it like this because it matters in the last part of this, which is migrants. Are we getting their best? Okay, it all ties in. The reason why our value system has to change is because the things that we value right now make it privy for mistreatment to happen to us. I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, damn, that chick bad as shit. Okay, excuse my French. I'm just changing the vernacular a little bit. Okay, man, it was real bad that dude got shot in the head. Bad has two meanings. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about a quote unquote bad ass chick, which means you're insinuating that she looks good. You know what I'm saying? But you're not using the words look good or she's beautiful. You're using bad ass chick. Now you just used a whole sentence. Those three words definitely have three different meanings. Bad means something's bad happening that you know the opposite of good. Then you have ass, which really means anus, or we think it means anus, but then we attach it to something called a jackass, which is a donkey. Okay. Then you have chick. Chick is a chicken. Okay, it's a baby chicken at that. But we're referring to a woman as a chick. This is grounds, and I mean, this is the absolute best ingredients for confusion. Okay, so changing our value system, and this shit is easy. This is easy. See how I'm slipping? I still got that Navy mind in me. This is easy for me to say over these airways, but it's going to be 100% hard for you to do. And I want us to start understanding that if anything is easy, be suspicious of it. Everything in this existence is hard. Even being born, it was hard when our mothers, God rest their souls, if they're not here with us, the ones that are, they pushed, they pushed out blood. We raised hell coming through the womb to get here. You know what I'm saying? That shit was hard. All right. Even people say it was easy, it was hard. Okay. Everything in this is hard. So changing our value system is something that we can do today. I mean, in the next 15 minutes, because it's an individual thing, but it's also a collective thing. Why? Because we're living in a system of racism, white supremacy, which is a group-based sport thing. You feel what I'm saying? Understand? So our value systems definitely have to change. The way that we treat ourselves, this is what it starts with, treating ourselves differently. You know what I'm saying? Um, and this means on every level, what you're putting in your body, first of all. You know what I'm saying? We every time we wake up, and I'm not gonna make this a health thing, but I'm saying every time we wake up, you should start with water. Okay. Um, and for the people that may be listening to the recording, y'all always hear Brother Mooco in the Twitter spaces and on my social spaces and all when I'm talking about health and medicine. Okay. So we definitely got to start changing our value system as far as food. When we start looking at food, what we classify as food. Okay. I'm always harping on G bombs because that is the thing that has been working for me and has gotten me out of cancer situations. Uh, and everybody that I've given the advice to, it has worked. But we also got to understand that without health, if you're not paying attention to your bloodline, what that means, what your brother is doing, what your sister is doing, what your father is doing, you know what I'm saying? Notice I said all these things, and you might not know your father. You might not get along with your father. You might not get along with your brother or sister. But these relationships are vital. Vital to what, Brother Muko? Vital to your health, your existence. Okay? We all have a mission, and our missions are the same. We are to make this place better than what it was before we were born. Okay? Before we came here. When we leave, we're supposed to leave it a little bit better than what it was when we came here. So, with that being said,
Brother
I don't
Mooco,
think I have to really. Yeah, yeah,
let's get Brother Machinda and Professor's raw perspective on the value system. And
absolutely,
yeah, I want to see
absolutely.
what they have to say. We'll start off with Brother Machinda. Brother Machinda, are you there? Okay, well, we'll wait on Brother Machinda. So, Professor Ra.
Finally got it, Brother Mooco. And Asante for the message. There's a lot of people that needs to develop a different ideology, philosophy, and value system. And then, it's a challenge because many of them are victims of oppression. That's why they sometimes have the value systems that don't work for them, or ideologies and philosophies that don't work for them. There have been a lot of people that tried to push philosophies, ideologies, and even nutrition. Elijah Muhammad said, eat to live. There have been Brother Dr. Sabi, he pushed the program about the important. Many of our parents going back who were here, I say post 70s and things of this nature, they didn't put a value on nutrition, especially with the fast food phenomenon that popped up generally in the 70s. I mean, many of us grew up, there wasn't a Jack in the Box on every corner, McDonald's was never in our neighborhood. And we ate at home. And sometimes by force, we ate nutritionally, like vegetable stew, no meat in it, you understand? Beans and rice, you understand? Greens and cornbread, okra, and onions. And that was because we thought we were poor. And our parents were stretching out food that would hold us. As they would say, this will hold you, but you got to eat it. But now it's a different thing. The kids dictate to the parents what they want to eat. And many of them, not all of them, but many of them, parents that are unconscious. I always ask the question in my class, what did you do Black today? What did you do African today? And many of the predominantly African American students couldn't tell me. They think because they Black, you understand? But they don't have a philosophy, a value system that's from the ancestors or from our history of culture. The deification of who we are is very important. Seeing each other as gods and goddesses, regardless of their condition, and holding a high respect. Dr. Karenga introduced the Nguzo Saba. Marcus Garvey introduced the concept of reparations, Black nationalism, African liberation. And he gave us instructions. Elijah Muhammad, do for self. These are all philosophies that came from Black people. Frederick Douglass, without struggle, there's no progress. They're not just cliches. Some people act out their philosophy. They don't even talk it, like Harriet Tubman. She believed in liberation, so she acted it out. She didn't just want liberation for herself. She said she wanted to go back and help others get liberated. And so here is a situation where the Nguzo Saba or Kawido philosophy, which I practice and I'm deeply involved in, do offer a value system. Umoja, unity. Strive for unity. You ain't gonna just get it. You have to have operation unity. And that means, principles of cooperation, principles of communication, principles of purpose, principles of ethics and values that we treat each other and how we come to a decision as a group or individuals among ourselves. And it's a very, I practice that. The first principle, 7 principles, the first one is a group umoja, meaning, to strive toward unity with our families, with the community, and with our nation. Then there's kujichagulia, self-determination. People have named themselves dogs and plants and dogs and those that are enslaved are named by their master. For liberation, people name themselves. You got many Black people that will not take an African name or a name after a Black hero or heroine. But that's okay, as long as they practicing values and things, but it's a contradiction to say you want to be African or you are African or Black and you don't, practice it. And then there's Ujamaa, cooperative economics, which is very important. Buy from our people, buy products that our people handmade. Many people won't wear African clothes, because they came up as Americans. And so they accept American values. And that's what American is. American ain't just trying to be like white people or wanting to be treated like white people. It's acting like them and living like them. And then, you know, there's Ujima, you know, collective working responsibility. You know, you have to train your kids and discipline them toward the values you want them to have, even if it's hygiene, if it's being organized, if it's being, I never was taught those things. You know, don't be for my wife. I'll be worse than what I am now. You know, she had a better concept of what organization is and what you're supposed to do, from shedding the toilet, stand down, so you know, when you finish, washing your hands when you finish, all those things. And the same thing with purpose. Purpose. You know, what is your purpose in life? To do good and bring good into the world. And to start out by treating yourself good. You know, don't put nothing in your body that contaminates it. Don't put nothing in your mind that is a virus. And then the same thing is with Kumba, creativity, and along with faith, spirituality. Those are value systems. And some people practice them, some don't. So you have to remember that a lot of the reasons our people do what they do is because of COINTELPRO. Their intelligence are being countered. We send our kids to white school, which is good. But when they come home, they should get a reorientation and a re-education to go with that, what they learn. And so they learn how to sift through what the white people is teaching them. Or even Negroes who was taught by white people. As Haki would say, Haki Mahanuti. And those are very, why are you working? To get a car, you understand, to get an apartment, you understand, to get some drugs. You know, what is your purpose for working? What is your purpose for getting an education? If it's not toward the liberation of your people, it's a counterfeit. So education, in my view. But, you know, I can't. We got millions of Black people all over the country. And as Mooco was saying, that I'm glad we're getting into the social media so that we can speak to thousands through, at one time, through Facebook, through Twitter, as Brother Mooco was saying, which is a tool, a liberation tool, not just to show people you can do the twerk on your booty and to talk about your love life or talk about this. Everything we do must be geared toward liberation, in my view. I mean, I practice as much as we can. So I appreciate what you're saying. And we do need to change the value system. But the point is, you got to come up with a program to do it. And we call it education, mobilization, organization, and confrontation, and transformation. So those are the struggles that we deal with. So that's what I see when you say change your value system. You know, we have to educate families, to educate as many people as we can. And Rashiki took the concept, each one teach one, not just by words and books and things, but by your life. You know, if you're gonna say you're African and African American, live that type of a life, a value of liberation and example for the young people. I once had a brother once say, I want to speak to young people. I said, yeah. I said, brother, you can't speak to my kids. I said, why? I said, because you got earrings on and you got gang clothes on, and you think that's what you need to relate to kids. No, you got the kids to I need the kids to relate to you. Don't you relate to them to communicate. You have to uplift them to communicate with you and take them out of that mentality of listening to Snoop and the rest of them rappers that, as brother was saying the other day, all these rappers talking about killing and murdering and blah, 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 blah. I mean, he did a good job of it. I hope you listen to that program, and I hope Roger P. send it to you. Okay, that's about it, Roger P.
All right. I just want to touch on something that you just said, Professor Ra. And when I'm teaching or when I'm organizing my class, I have to be the model of what I expect the kids to do. You can't give them a blueprint of how the class is being operated without being a actual model of the behavior you expect. So you do have to model it. And in our families, if you want your family to be a certain way, the heads of the family gotta model what they expect for their children. So they gotta look up to something that's that you want to have for them. So I agree with both you and Brother Mooco. So now we have another brother here this evening, Trey, son of Ross Stevens. How you doing, brother? Can you unmute, please?
All
How
right,
you
I'm
doing?
learning how to. Yeah, I'm learning how to use this. All right, there you go. How you doing, brother?
All right.
Good.
So how you doing? So you
I'm
you
good. I'm good. Yeah.
How
I
you
got
doing,
an
Trey?
invite from brother Muko.
okay? Well, good. So
Shout
brother
out to him,
Muko,
man. Shout out to him.
brother Muko, you got some more Compton people around here,
Oh
huh?
yeah, born and bred,
All
baby.
right.
Born and raised. Born and raised.
Okay, good. Well, you sitting here with Compton folks. All
Okay, that's what I'm
Mhm.
talking
right.
about. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
this
man.
the brother I was telling y'all about. I actually got wind of this brother in a space. We hold late night spaces on Twitter game that I was telling y'all about. And I heard this brother speak, and I was trying to follow him. And it took some time for me to get up with him. But every time I heard this brother speak, and this is actually the first time I'm actually seeing him face to face with him. So what up, Trey? Thanks for coming in, bro. Every time he speaks, he's definitely on code. And man, the first time I heard you speak, it made me think of CNN, and I was like, man, I gotta get him down with this kid. You know what I'm saying? Because just like the situation that was happening in the space, you was hitting on some real heavy points. You know what I'm saying? And that's what passing down information and schooling the youngins look like. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to give you a shout out for that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because that was 100, and every time I hear you in the space, you always spitting that 100. So yeah, this is one of my Twitter game, and I just wanted to get you down with this conversation. We talking about value systems and the migrant situations. Are we getting their best? You know what I'm saying? So the space wasn't going to be too long because I know everybody has something, other things to do. I definitely got other things to do. And so I just wanted to leave everybody with some homework because this is going to be a part 2, 3, 4 series, you know what I'm saying, topic. And it's because it's so serious. So I just wanted to get a mic back to you, Trey, so you can introduce yourself to the family and let everybody know what it is.
Well, appreciate you, bro. Man, we was going back and forth on Twitter. I told you I was gonna try to get down, so. But yeah, I was just sitting back, listening to the OG talk, and well, by myself, like you say, I'm born and raised in Compton, Compton Boulevard is Central. But I mean, going on the topic that we was talking about in the room when I was in with Brother Muko was basically, you know, holding us as men accountable, and I think that's what we missing in our community. One thing I was saying is that us as I look at myself as a Black American. You know, that's that's how I classify myself as. So it comes with the lineage of slavery, you know, black laws, Jim Crow, civil rights up until what we dealing with now. So I understand where I come from. And it's like we tolerate a lot of nonsense. And it's part of our community because we like to have fun because going back to slavery, we had to do something to deflect of the conditions that we was in. So we was always the ones to find the best out of everything, joke around. That's one thing that other people in our diaspora, well, in the diaspora, don't understand about us in America is that we have literally turned every bad situation into something that we can create, make something useful for ourselves, enjoy. Like I said, one of the issues we have now, speaking about Twitter, one of the issues we have is going back and forth with those in the diaspora about joking, shooting on each other. That's part of our culture. That is something that family members up until teachers. You got teachers who will joke on their students because it's a form of embracement. It's a form of showing love, but they don't understand that. So I think there's a disconnect with that. Now going back to what the topic was about manhood, I feel like we allow too much of that, too much of the joking around nonsense because as men, like I'm a history buff. I can honestly say everything we complaining about today, we was complaining about in 1963, 1964, 1965, 1968. Like it hasn't changed. I could literally being from LA. I was 8 years old during the LA riots. I could literally play verbatim people saying the same thing from the 1965 riots, verbatim about what we need, what's going on with us. So everybody knows what's up, but there's always been this um, what a deflection of everybody else's problems, and everybody knows that nobody's problem is bigger than ours. So they have to attach their issues with us. That goes back to the manhood. We understand that it's certain rules to what we need and what's needs to be done for our community to be successful in this country. And I feel like we entertain, excuse my language, OG, the bullshit too much. We look at it as like, oh, that's just John being John. Oh, that's just Jim Bob being Jim Bob. Like we have to because I just had my first child 3 years ago. I'm 38 years old. You know what I'm saying? And that changed my whole perspective on how I deal with adults, how I deal with money, and how I look at the future. Everything I'm doing, I see my daughter and I see little girls every day. And I'm wondering, is they, especially black girls, are they being taken care of the way I'm taking care of my daughter? Because I know they're the ones that she's gonna have to deal with when she get older. So I feel like first it comes self-check. Man, Michael Jackson said it first. Man in the mirror. Man in the mirror. Self-check always comes first. Household second. When we step out the door, you have to understand that everything that you say and do, you got to be accountable for. And I feel like us as black men, we ain't been doing that as much as we have been. And we could talk about all of the distractions, the deflections, the attacks. I mean, it's ridiculous on how bad we've been attacked, especially black men, been attacked in this country. But at the same time, we've seen what it takes and we've seen it get done. And that's basically what I come at when I'm on Twitter spaces. Like when we in the, cause I've networked with people, I've built with people, I've learned with people from people. So when it comes to people coming in deflecting, I'm the enforcer. I nip it in the butt because two sentences I've learned this. This is respect. 2 sentences could change a person's life. Could give them the answer to the questions they've been asking their whole life. So deflection, uh, unnecessary, unwanted attention. Yeah, I don't think it's necessary, and it needs to be checked. And I'll land with that.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. All right, brother Mooco.
Okay, I thought brother Masenda was gonna get in there, but yeah,
Yeah. Hey,
I
hold on
definitely.
a second. Hey,
Oh, all right. I
I'm
was like,
listening.
hold up, goddamn it, I'm in here now. What's up, brother
No,
Masenda?
yeah, yeah. I'm listening. I appreciate everybody's account. I'm in agreement with what I'm hearing. Everybody's giving their own personal experience, which it seems like is congruent with most of what I'm hearing. Everybody shares the same thoughts, that they've acquired through their own experience in this life. So I think that's where we recognize that truth is there. When we got brothers that's pretty much from different places that come on, some we've never met before, just for the first time, that's sharing information that giving these accounts that is consistent with a lot of how we think. It shows that it got to be some truthness. You talk about value systems, and I'm gonna be real brief because I want to hear more on what you're saying. Because it's been said, but I work with people every day, and what I do in education, and basically, like I say, if you're not taught certain things, if you're not introduced to certain things, you don't know. And sometimes you may be introduced to something as it relates to a value, but then there's other people competing forces out there trying to show you some other things to where you get distracted and confused, where you don't know what's real and what's not. It's like smoking mirrors, trick mirrors, and all kind of things that go on in life. And so, especially the kids, they're vulnerable. They're in a vulnerable state. They're in a developmental state, and so they get hit early. And so, therefore, it becomes reckless and abandoned, or or even on another level. So I'm saying is I'm in the battle every day, trying to offset, trying to introduce these things that's being said on this very call. So I just appreciate everybody's contribution. I'm letting you know I'm on front line every day, been on it for years, and I look forward to hearing more what you got to say, brother Mooco. But you guys are dead on it. I'm done.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it, brother Masenda.
Definitely appreciate it, brother Masenda. Definitely appreciate your view. Appreciate you, Trey. Amin Ra, always, Rashiki, definitely, we already always chop it up in the back channel. So I want to say this as far as the value systems, we already got that down pat. We understand the changes that need to be done. And we also understand that, just like Trey mentioned, uh, and Rob mentioned, it's an individual thing, but it's also a collective thing because of racism, white supremacy being a group-based thing. You know what I'm saying? They do this as a team. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, to segue into the migrants and are we getting their best? I'm bringing this up because I was privy to a space, just like my brother Trey was talking about. It's different situations in different spaces. We could be on the topic of Trump and Biden, and we're running to some real ignorant shit. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, God damn, are we 11 or are we adults? You know what I'm saying? And with that being said, I came across this space where there was a brother in this space. His name was Carlos. Okay. And of course, you already know Carlos. You know something got to be coming behind it, like Rodriguez or something like that. And I just called this brother brother. You know what I'm saying? But I called him a brother for a reason because he kind of set the bar for the brown and black coalition type thing. You know what I'm saying? This man, he was he works as a transporter, okay? And what he does is he transport legal aliens. You know what I'm saying? People that got legal documentation. And what he does is he transports kids. Okay, so if a kid is flying from one state to another, he's the attendant that flies with these rich people's children from one destination to another, make sure they get there safe. You know what I'm saying? So he was also making us privy that of his nationality. You know what I'm saying? He was like, yo, I'm Mexican, you know what I'm saying? I've been here, my parents came here back in whatever. And, he was born here, whatever. Now, he was telling us that, you know, he had to work with transporting some of these illegals and migrants. And he was putting us privy to some of the security companies, big security companies here that employ a lot of our people, a lot of our single black women. You know what I'm saying? Just a lot of non-black people. White people. I mean, they're white companies. You know what I'm saying? But the interesting thing that this brother was saying was like, yo, they're going to Mexico and all these other, countries and scooping these motherfuckers up and bringing them here, not doing no security checks, not checking to see if they got weapons, drugs, not asking no names, no identification, just bringing these motherfuckers here, setting them up in hotels, setting them up in schools. And, our children, we don't know if we're getting their criminals. We don't know if we're getting their rapists. We don't know what the fuck we get. You know what I'm saying? And the thing that's really crazy about this is not just in New York and Chicago. This is in El Paso, all parts of Texas. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully, I mean, not hopefully, but even here, you know what I'm saying? In Maryland, where I'm up here in Baltimore. I'm in Philly right now, but they even shipping some here in Philly. You know what I'm saying? And they shipping them everywhere. But the thing is, they don't have to have licenses. These people get allowances, a monthly allowance that equal to about $5,000, $6,000. Some I've even heard and seen $7,000 vouchers that
Hey,
these
brother, let me
motherfuckers is getting.
piggyback. Let me
Yeah,
piggyback.
yeah,
Hey, look, I'm from
definitely.
California, born and raised. They are allowed to get up to $350 per child. They allowed to get a driver's license. They start in California right now. They're starting to allow them to apply to be a police officer. Um, Healthcare. They get healthcare as soon as they come over because Los Angeles County is a sanctuary city or county. So as soon as they get there, they get all the benefits, and it's ridiculous. But go ahead. I just had to piggyback on that. Yeah, it's firsthand, homie.
No, no, and thank you for that, bro. That's why I asked you to come in this space. You know what I'm saying? Because I already knew when I seen on your profile, I'm like, you know what? All this, man, all this stuff I heard this man, so I know he know. You know what I'm saying? And I know all of us know firsthand. Now, this isn't just a topic to pick on immigration, illegal aliens, and all of that. You know what I'm saying? This is not what this is, but this is connecting the dots. You know what I'm saying? I said this space, this call wasn't going to be long. And you know how I do, Rashid. You always feel like it's going to be a chosen few to get us up out this shit. You feel what I'm saying? But what I've done so far, the research that I've done so far, with the help of this brother Carlos, and I'm a DM him or I'm a DM you Trey on Twitter, DM you his profile. You know what I'm saying? So you can follow him and shit. And because this dude is definitely a whistleblower, and the intricate thing about it is, man, he was telling us stuff that I know that they're hiding because first of all, they ain't even reporting correctly about how many people have crossed the border already on a daily basis, and we up in the 10,000 numbers. You know what I'm saying? With that, before they lift the plan 42 or whatever that plan was that Trump had in place, before they lift that shit, these motherfuckers was coming over on the daily. So he was saying that you know, when these people get in trouble, you know what I'm saying? And this was something that the intricate you were saying about the licenses, Trey, up here in Maryland, right? I went down to Annapolis probably about a month ago. I took my son as a day trip, you know, as because I homeschool my son. You know what I'm saying? My daughter. So what I did is I took him on a field trip to go down to Annapolis to show him how to lobby for different things that he may want in his neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? What you know, and what lobbying was and what the offices was, the House of Representatives and the delegates, you know, and represent, you know, I'm just showing them the different offices, you know, getting them abreast of that shit. Because when you're reading it in a book, they really don't get it. So I took them to the office. Bro, we come down there, and what I was doing was me, my uncle, and my cousin went down there. We own a drone company. My cousin owns a flight school. He owns the first black owned drone flight school in America. You know what I'm saying? And what he does is he purposely trains people that look like us to get their pilot's license for to be drone operators. You actually need a license to fly a fucking drone. Okay. But the industry is $1 trillion untapped industry. It's at its infancy. Anyway, I took my son down there to advocate for the drone jobs of inspecting the vacant buildings up here in Baltimore. All right, we got a real bad vacant building problem, like I know we got in all areas. You know what I'm saying? Just like my brother Trey said, he's you know he was he had mentioned the riots in '68, the '60 riots and all that, even the one that he lived through. Well, even the uprising that we lived through here in Baltimore. You know what I'm saying? I've seen these things, and our houses are so dilapidated that if they're on a bus stop, you don't even want nobody standing on the bus stop because the fucking house, the building might fall. And we've had instances where we got stilts just holding buildings up, and that's how they left them. You know what I'm saying? So what we did was we kept going to the mayor. We've been doing this for about 2, 3 years, going to the mayor, going to the governor, going to different officials, going to BC's HBCUs, and I got my quotation fingers up to get our children implemented in this drone program and all that. Well, when I went down there, guess what I did see? I seen a Hispanic woman. Matter of fact, I seen Hispanic women. It was a group of them advocating for illegals to get free skilled licensing. Okay. Now Trey had just mentioned they get over here, they get a free license, all that shit. Well, guess what? They get that free license. They can tell them whoever they can tell them there whoever they want. They're not asking for no birth certificates. They're not asking for no proof of identity. None of that shit. And that's what even makes it even more sick. Because even over there in Texas, guess what? Illegal can go to a pawn shop and get a gun and not get questioned, not have to do no paperwork. But if brother Amara go in a gun shop right now, guess what they're gonna say? Well, Mr. Rod, can you show me your ID? We have to do a check and we can get back to you. And then you gotta go and get a FAQ to buy the gun and get a license and get insurance. I'm a concealed gun registered license holder, and I gotta pay $49 a month for as long as I own this gun as insurance. Guess why? Because if I use my weapon, even in self-defense, I am going to get arrested, and this insurance is like $2 million worth of bail money. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, this shit is crazy. But no illegal aliens have to go through none of this. They can just go get a gun and walk around with it, and they good. Okay. So this is something that I need us to pay attention to because these security companies are implemented in this shit. They're going scooping these people up, bringing them here. Companies like Allied Universal, I want y'all to write this down. Allied Universal Security Company. Okay. Aero Security Inc. Okay, this is just a couple, but it's others too. Okay, others are involved too, and I'm gonna have the names of them as well. But this is just the tip of the iceberg because I'm looking at now up here in Baltimore, they got at least 5 or 6 corporate offices, Allied Universal Security Company offices. I see these guys at electrical get grids, okay, guarding electrical grids, guarding apartment buildings. They are definitely at all our supermarkets, okay. They're guarding our food, okay. But then on the flip side, these motherfuckers are responsible, excuse my French, these bastards are responsible and got hand in going to scoop these migrants up from their countries and bringing them back here and housing them. And not just housing them, but if they get in trouble, you know what they tell them before they go out into to the public, to us, to interact with us? They say, if you get in any trouble, just come back here or try not to get in any trouble. So when they give them paperwork to get here, this was the interesting thing, and I wish Trey was in here, but he'll listen to the recording. He probably got a phone call, but I'm gonna tell y'all this. This is the intricate thing. When they get here, when they shipping them here, and the hotels up in New York, and the schools in Chicago, and then the schools in New York, where I might add that our children are still going. The schools aren't abandoned schools or schools that's inactive. These schools are active, and they're putting these migrants in the gymnasium. Okay? So that just opens the door for all types of rapes, all types of shootings. We don't know if they bringing guns. And look, I'd rather be what's that saying? I'd rather be sure. I'd rather had this inquisitive mind that something happened and we have a whole nother Columbine 3.0 on our hands. You know what I'm saying? We already seeing how in the news and in other countries they are actually herotizing these boys that did Columbine. You know what I'm saying? And that was terrible. This is definitely war. So I just urge everybody to do your homework on these companies, see who the CEOs are. I know one CEO of the Allied Universal. His name is John something. I posted it on my Twitter page. I'm a definitely send you the link, Rashiki, and just spread the news. You know, Arrow Security Company is another one called Prime something. As I find out what they are before the show, I'll definitely send you the links, Brother Rashiki, and you can pass it out to the rest of the family. And I just know how, Brother Ra and Brother Mashinda, I know how y'all, y'all are research hogs, you know what I'm saying? And I know if anybody can help me on this mission, it's my care unit in Cali, because we gotta get to the bottom of this shit. Because at the end of the day, it affects not just us, you know what I'm saying, going out, but it affects our children, our grandchildren, our children's children who ain't even born yet, who we possibly won't even meet. You know what I'm saying? So this is our mission. We have to make sure shit is right with them. And at the same time, stay on this reparations fight. You know what I'm saying? Reparations specifically for black people. Why? Because it's old. We are old repair. We have never gotten repaired. We got beat the fuck up by our enemy, and then we fought to be with them. We fought to eat in their restaurants. We fought to be equal to the very evil that subjugates and oppresses us even to this day. You know what I'm saying? And that, ties back into it's just like a big ass circle. It ties back into the value system. You know what I'm saying? We have to be really laser beam focused with our words. I suggest that we don't even say we're fighting for equality. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not fighting to be equal. Okay. And one thing about the words that we use, okay, we write, we use these words and we spell out words. We use the words and we spell them out in sentences. Okay. So we speak spells. Well, to speak spells, your words have to have power. Okay. Now, the only way you weaken the power in your words is by lying. Okay? Lying to yourself, whether it's by mistake, on purpose, it doesn't matter. You have all the intelligencies that you need to find out what's called the truth or what's called the fact. You know what I'm saying? All of us do. You know what I'm saying? I know some of us up in age, all of us up in age. You know what I'm saying? We in our fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh decade. But we are built for this. Our minds are built for this. Our bodies are built for this. Okay? So I just implore and suggest that everybody pay close attention to the security companies that's bringing these people in. They get over 3 or 4 100,000 chicken rats and certain rats to feed these people and I trust it was a recorded space, so I'm gonna go back and listen to it again. But I trust that he said that Walmart was providing some of these foods. You know what I'm saying? Maybe even companies like Subway. I got to double check the Subway, but I think one was definitely Walmart. And someone, the way that that got leaked was because he took a video of how much food was being wasted in these hotels with these migrants. Okay. And once somebody got a whiff of that, that shit went viral and they tried to shut it down. And, so a lot of this stuff is coming out. Um, they trying to trick us up with the Democrat, Republican crap. I would implore and suggest people don't even get involved in that shit. Because it is the term that I coined, which is called a distractionary weakness, and it's a confusionary tactic that white supremacy uses to get us hooked on these distractions that they throw at us. And the meaning of the distractionary weakness is the victim's weakness to a distraction. Okay, white supremacy use these distractions, use our weaknesses to distractions, and I call the distractionary weaknesses because we have to, from this point on, recognize this. Okay, first of all, recognize that we have weaknesses to distractions. All right. We are definitely victims of distractionary weaknesses and definitely victims of confusionary tactics by white supremacy. Why do I say that, Brother Mooco? Because I say that because white supremacy lives off of confusion. Okay. It wouldn't survive without confusing us about what Amin Ra said about your fucking values, about your religion, about your ideologies, everything that you think you know, it confuses you. Okay. So we got a big job ahead of us, big brothers. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of people to we got a lot of research to do, first of all. You know what I'm saying? On the security companies, on the companies that's providing these migrants with foods and these hotel companies, the companies that are hotels. A lot of these hotels are mom and pop chains. Okay. A lot of these hotels that they ban shipped to in New York. The school that they trying to put them in Chicago is a vacant school that was actually promised to the black community. But now they reneging on that and trying to throw them right in the heart of the black community, which is another issue. You know what I'm saying? Um, you taking people that's here illegally. You already paid the Afghanistanians, and now you paying the. I might have said that wrong, but you paying the Afghans, and then you paying the illegals coming here. You still paying the Jews goddamn reparations. Lord knows the Koreans got to be getting goddamn reparations because I know a Korean, a young Korean myself, and this motherfucker showed me that yeah, when we come over here, we get a housing voucher, and that housing voucher had 56,000, not 5,600, 56,000 on the voucher to buy the property. Okay, and they just passing that shit on generation to generation. All right, so these things are happening right under our nose. Government to tell us they ain't got money to break us off for reparations. We only, 30% of the population tops. It ain't gonna hurt to break us off each a million, 2, 3 million, 4 generations, 5 generations down the line. That shit ain't gonna hurt nobody the way they fucking giving out money to everybody else and weaponizing everybody else. You giving people guns and you giving them money. This means you giving them guns and butter. Okay? You giving them fucking resources and the protection to protect the resources, and we don't even get that. You could kill us on the street with no fucking penalties. You feel me? We gotta explain why we was just walking down the street, or why we was doing this or doing that. You know what I'm saying? We got Jordan Neely just was saying he was hungry on the goddamn subway, and this white boy strangled him. He got $2 million in support. Jordan Neely ain't even got 100,000, barely. You know what I'm saying? This is because our value system has to change. You know what I'm saying? Immediately when we see shit like that, we as a whole should be donating. I don't give a fuck if it's $5, $2, $3. We should be looking, what's the GoFundMe? You know what I'm saying? We should all have something set aside on the next space. I want to hold a space about insurance, about us increasing and creating generational wealth. You know what I'm saying? That's something that I've been wanting to do on this show for a minute, and I've come up with the help of my brother out of Tennessee. His name is Charles Tucker. He helped me recognize what him and his wife has been doing. Probably they did it once already, and they're doing it again for a second time. I'm in the process of doing this, and this is a 3-year life insurance plan. You know what I'm saying? Where we can create generational wealth. These white companies and all these white people have been doing this shit under our noses for decades, probably even centuries or close to a century now. So without veering off, you know what I'm saying, going down a rabbit hole, that's what this show is about in a nutshell. It's about doing the research on these migrants, who's supplying them, who's housing them, and calling them out. You know, next show, whatever date Brother Rashiki has available, I don't want to make it too far out. I want to make it in like maybe a week or two if it's available. But to have a part two, and then a part two, I'm going to come with the company names and the research in detail what I've you know, what I've uncovered so far, what I've come up with to that point. And I would just implore everybody, bring your notepads, your pencils, because this is war, and we got to be strategic. And now more than ever is where we need to change it from the talking about it to actually doing. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is a awesome black-tastic team to move this front forward. You know what I'm saying? Research these crazy wild situations down to the molecule. You know what I'm saying? And not just doing that, but then disseminating the research and the information that that we come up with to the masses. You know what I'm saying? Because publicizing it and making sure that the information that we reveal or uncover, we need to make sure everybody here, especially the people in those areas that's actually going through it. Because I was just thinking, like, damn, how can somebody in New York not know that Walmart was supplying these, migrants with hundreds and hundreds of rats? But then I thought about it. Shit, if I gotta work a 12-hour shift and then come home and do it the next day, I'm not really paying attention to the hotel on Route 90, whatever, and seeing that, all these migrants and Mexicans around there, where they come from? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of shit happens right under our nose because we're so distracted with just everyday life. You know what I'm saying? I'm not outside of this family. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm coming to y'all with it, because guess what? 2 heads better than one. 3 heads better than two. Fucking 5 heads better than four. You feel what I'm saying? And we got a lot of research power in this network, in this organization that Brother Rashiki has put together and kept together so well, with the help of all of you. You know what I'm saying? And I am definitely proud and honored to even be associated with CNN. You know what I'm saying? Even when I mention it to people, I had to slow it up, because when I say CNN, they think I'm talking about CNN. And I'm like, no, C, the letter E, and N. You know what I'm saying? So I
Hey, brother
always,
Mooco,
yeah.
you was talking about the life insurance and generational wealth. Sister Making It Happen already started a podcast called Your Money Matters. So we have a financial,
Oh, dope.
so we need to hook you up with her so you could
Absolutely.
contribute to that show. And here it is
Absolutely.
right here. That's one of the
Okay.
shows she did. And then here's another show she did. And this is checking account versus saving accounts. So we've started
Mm,
that as a unit, and you can hook up with her and make a contribution
absolutely.
to that show. That'll be a good deal.
Absolutely.
So I just want to
Absolutely.
mention that. So
Absolutely.
now,
And can
before we
you send me
got,
that link?
I will.
Can you send me that link when we done?
Yeah, before we get out of here, I want to let Professor Ra, I think he wrote down a couple of things. He may have, you have anything to contribute to that, Professor Ra?
Well, I appreciate what's been said, if I understand correctly, but I see things based upon my studies and my lifestyle, and I saw, that I can understand people who calling them illegal aliens and this, but that's the European term. I just call them undocumented if that's okay. Second, they don't pose a threat to me. I lived around Latinos all the time. They've been always outnumbering us in California. In LA County, when I was doing the Ron Settles case, and we wanted to recall them, we did the statistics, and there were close to 4 million Latinos and only 900,000 Black people in LA County alone. When it comes to corporations, Latino corporations, there are about close to 5 million of them in just California alone. And only 50,000 at most. Now it's about 8,000 or 9,000 Black corporations. Second, when it comes to guns, people get guns off the street. People get guns from gun shows. People get guns, ghost guns. People get guns from gun shows, and they don't even have to prove no identity. That's what they're trying to pass gun reform for. I always ask the question, why do these people want to come here? And they're not just coming from Mexico. They're from El Salvador, they're from Haiti, they're from Cuba, they're from many of the Caribbean countries. Who destabilized their country to make them want to live and take death challenging walks to get here? And who's hiring them? Who's feeding them? Walmart's doing it. That's not the Black community. The Catholic Church has always been a sanctuary for immigrants. Immigrant, people come to stay. A migrant is somebody who come to work. That's what the difference between migrants and immigrants. And so it's a challenge. We have so many problems, intergroup problems, conflict, that we have to also deal with. The fentanyl case problem, the drug dealing problem. And, in Baltimore, they have a lot of heroin. They don't even mess around. They go straight to the vein. You understand? And I ain't talking about 1,000 people. I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of Black African Americans just standing on the corner nodding. I think that we should always keep our eye on the white guy who's behind all of this, and who's shipping them to Chicago, New York, Baltimore. These are who's that? The governor of Texas, the governor of Florida. You understand? They're the ones that's buying the buses. The people don't have no difference. They come here. They didn't have to be shipped. They told them, I'm going to take you to Martha, whatever that thing is in New York, Martha something. And they take them there just to create the anxiety and the frustration of the people in those cities that are created. But the European used them for population of him. He converts them to conservatism over 40% of Latinos voted for Trump. And then they operate about close to at least 30 cities in LA. I mean, I can just talk about the ones close to Compton. You know, Paramount, Linwood, you understand, Huntington Park, you understand, San Gabriel, you understand? Same thing with the Asians, you understand? But the European is the one that sets them up. That's why they're loyal to them and give them access, because you know he needs their population, because he can't get them to come out of Europe. He can't get them to come out of those white countries. And even when the Ukrainians come here, they come here unchecked. They move to the front of the line. You understand? I mean, you know, they trying to escape war, and they come to the front of the line, unchecked, untreated. So my point is that, you know, we must never take our eyes off the white guy. You know, we came here by force. They come here by volunteering. They come here to be American. We are forced into it. And that's the difference. You know what I'm saying? We didn't choose to come to this country. We was happy on the continent, living our lives of freedom. Come here. And there are some people who do fight for equal rights and civil rights and all that. Those are Americans. Black nationalists vote for fight for black nationalism, black power. That's the difference. So my point is that, yeah, I mean, immigration has had a devastating effect on black communities. And it's made black people migrate to other cities and leave that neighborhood. Because some of them are prejudiced, some of them are uncomfortable with Latinos, with food trucks up and down the street, with you know, babies, you know, they come here with families. You understand? And then they have a prohibition about black people coming from Africa. But Russia's all over in Africa, stealing the gold to finance their war in Ukraine, while the people are starving. You know, I'm for the European behind all of this. And I'm for working with, sitting down and having a dialogue with Latino and have an equal understanding that, you know, you got to fight for us the way we fight for you. The average Negro always say black and brown, but you never hear the Latino saying brown and black. They all got people of color. What the hell does that mean?
Say it again, Mirage. You ain't never lying. You ain't never lying. You don't never hear them say no brown and black. You ain't never lying.
But we need to have that dialogue, because they're being educated by conservative Latinos. The Catholic Church is ran by the Polish and the Pope. They ain't never had a Latino Pope. You understand? They colonized them. You don't hear them speaking out against nothing other than getting money. Here's a man riding around. I mean, it's just craziness. But anyway, the point is that, I mean, drugs, crime, immigration are all manufactured in our neighborhood. And we are the sacrificial lambs. I give you that. But I don't blame the Latino. I blame the European. And I don't blame immigration, or I don't call them illegal aliens and all of that. I call them undocumented people, possibly. That's the most I'll call them. But
You know what, Mirage?
yeah.
I want to thank you for that, because you are absolutely right. You know what I'm saying? I was just talking about being focused with my words, and I'm definitely jotted that down in my notes. I'm definitely starting to refer to them as undocumented persons. You're absolutely correct.
They're human
Thank you for that.
beings. They're human beings looking
Thank you
for.
for that.
Let me tell you this, man. We've been arguing about this for years. I can go back to the 70s to some of my lectures, and I was talking about the effects of immigration or migration and how people are risking their lives to get to this country. And we're in it trying to tell them, hey, you don't want to come here. The guy's tricking you. You understand? All he's going to use you for is labor, entertainment, and sex. And at the same time, many of you are going to be exploited unless you're rescued by middle class, upper class Latinos, which operate major corporations, brother. And when you go down certain streets, like Rochester, you can go down Compton Boulevard, you can go down Alameda. Them little shops, businesses been there for years. I ain't talking about since the 70s. I'm talking about going all the way back to the 50s. You understand? They've been having major businesses. And see, it's easy to say, like I used to tell people, you say you don't like Mexican, but you eat Mexican food. You say you don't like Mexicans, but you want to date their women. That's just like the Caucasian. You understand? I hate black people, but I'm going to go rape the sister. You understand? Come on, man. I mean, never take our eyes off the real crook. The one that is doing those things that many of you are saying they're doing. But that's all I got to say, Roger. I got to get ready for early morning dialysis. So,
Okay, Professor Rob, what about Monday? We have anything for Monday?
We got Ayatollah. I'll send you his name.
Please do. Please do.
And he's going to talk about what Mooco's talking about. Follow the cash. Follow the money. And he's going to be on Monday. And he, Nation of Islam. And we've had it on the show before. Hopefully everybody will tune in.
Yes, sir.
I'm definitely going to tune in.
Okay, appreciate it, Professor Rob. So, Brother Mooco, we're gonna end this evening, and like you said, we're gonna have definitely some more parts of this, and
definitely,
and get some specifics, tie it down, and all of that. That is excellent information. A lot of passion this evening.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah.
It's good though, man. Excellent information. So now, next week for this show, we have a brother coming on named Greg Lacey. He's a podcast host. And the topic is Mo Better Blues. So that's gonna be interesting. It's
all right, peace, brother.
He gave me a little summary of information, and it's gonna be very interesting. This brother has a nice podcast, so we're gonna get exposed to his podcast. And
okay, well, I definitely make sure I'm there, man. And so you can shoot me a reminder as well. And I'm gonna definitely start tuning in more because one thing for sure, two things for certain, man. We got a lot of brilliant minds here. And just like holding this space, I mean, shit, man, I'm always learning something from everyone in here. So
that's the key to get that information and decipher it and see what we can do and use it to create a better situation here, because we have a lot of values that's not important, that's not going to contribute to a constructive result. And that's what we're looking for.
There you go.
Yes. Yes. So excellent, Brother Mooco. Appreciate it. Brother Mashinda, thanks for coming. Appreciate your brother Trey coming in. And also appreciate Brother Mashinda.
Appreciate Trey.
Steadfasting and giving us another master teacher on the line. So excellent. So we're going to take our pause. We're gonna say each one
Okay.
teach one, Conscious Corner. Have a good evening.
Definitely. Each one teach one, man.